Thank you, David and Blair and Sandy and Olympia and John and Trisha and Ron. Thank you. Are you ready? Yes. Are you ready to have a life that is free? Yes. Are you ready to have more money than you know what to do with? Yes. Are you ready to go where you want to go, buy what you want to buy, and be who you want to be? Yes. And we'll repeat our treatment for freedom together aloud. I speak my word for myself, my center, and all its members and friends. I know love as the only reality. I am created out of love. Love is what I am. I know this love as absolute freedom in every area of my life, the life of my center, and all who call it home. I know our center's mortgages are paid in full, and I claim for all of us financial freedom with all debts paid and cleared. I release any sense of struggle or wrongdoing. I live in an abundant universe where there is more than enough for all. We experience freedom in every moment by always having more than enough money, vibrant health, and loving relationships. We are who we have come here to be. With hearts open wide, we see the world through the eyes of love. We are blessed, we are rich, and we are free. And so it is. And we do this by practicing our points of power. I always pay attention. I always tell the truth and tell it quickly. I always ask for what I want when I want it. I always take total responsibility for my experience. I always keep my agreements. And so it is. Whoa. So I've been thinking about being 21. As a community, we're 21. We're the mark of adulthood. We have left the challenges of youth and inexperience behind us, and we are supposed to be mature, stable people. Oh gosh, what a trip it's been. You know, I always had this in me whenever I first picked up the Science of Mind textbook and went to my first center in Eugene, Oregon, and heard someone say, there is a power and a presence within you, that you already have the ability to create the life of your dreams, that the outer is simply a reflection of the inner, and if you want to change the outer, all you have to do is change the inner. And I heard this and it rang so true in my soul. And that was the only thing I have ever wanted to do since then, is to be in this environment. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know that my path would lead me to being a minister and having a couple of communities. But I knew that this truth, this teaching was the only thing that I wanted, and that I would do whatever it was that needed to be done to put myself in this environment. And so I absorbed everything I could. If the center in Eugene was open, I was there. I left my 3-year-old son in questionable circumstances so that I could go to that center and get something that I needed so desperately. And then I moved to Miami and moved to Fort Lauderdale to continue my ministerial studies, and took the center in Miami. And it's fascinating. I've always said this anytime, especially if my colleagues are complaining, that ministry is the best self-help program ever. It's the best self-help program ever, because you come together, you get up on Sunday morning, you get yourselves all prettied up, and you come together simply to reflect me back to myself. And depending on what I'm thinking, what I'm believing, how I'm feeling, is how you show up in my world. And so whenever I hear my colleagues saying, oh, these people this, these people that, I go, no. They're wonderful. They love you so much. They're helping you see you this, you that. And so when I went to Miami, I was young. I was 28. I was inexperienced. I was unhealed. And I got to create that in my world. So I you know, drama a la Barbara Waterhouse, I created it big. And then came up here and swore off anything like that, except I still had this craving. So I tried to take it into the Unity Center, and that didn't work. And then we started this center. We started it because there was something inside of me that needed this. And so I'm very, very grateful for the 21 years that we've shared, but I want you to know that we have created this center, you have created this center for me, and that I'm very humbled by that process and that experience. And it hasn't always been easy. I was going to entitle this Lessons Learned Along the Way, but I thought, oh, it's all along the way. We think that we're going somewhere. We're not going anywhere. There's no place to go. There's only here and only now, so we're always right here, and it's always right now. This is it. I love that line from Jack Nicholson in some kind of a movie where he said, he's talking to the shrink, and he says, "What if this is as good as it gets?" And that's true. This is as good as it gets. This is it. You're not going anywhere. There's no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. What you've got is this moment, this second. But this has everything in it. And so as I look back on the 21 years of Center for Creative Living or Center for Spiritual Living Asheville, I just look at the evolution that we've made. And I have had the gift of being able to live my dream. I've had the gift, not that it was given to me and it's not given to others, but I've had the gift of stubbornness. I've had the gift of tenacity. I've had the gift of not giving myself any other options. There were never any other options other than making this work. This was either make it work or I'm probably not going to stick around because I don't want to do anything else. And I wanted to share with you that if you want to bring your dream into form, that sometimes it requires being more inside of us to get the more from the outside. And I don't want anyone to think for a moment that this center just magically appeared, that there was a rainstorm and it was a grassy area with a little trailer on it, and then the sun came out and the rainbow came, and that all of a sudden there were these buildings and these people and these structures and these classes and these people volunteering. That I don't want you to think that it just happened without any effort, because life requires effort. And so I've been kind of thinking back on some of the circumstances that we had in getting here. And one thing was right off the bat. When we went from the house to the trailer, a la 30 by 30 foot room and a bunch of siding to make it look pretty, the land that we built on, we didn't own. It was John's family's farm. They had given us permission to build the center, and then they found out what our belief was. So here we had built the place and we were going to open, and one of the young men shared with us that on opening morning he would be standing in the middle of the driveway with a shotgun. Now, we're always at a point of choice. This is as good as it gets. This is it. The whole shebang is in this moment. And I remember thinking, well, it's going to be pretty dramatic having the sheriff out there and, all of this stuff, but we're going to open anyway. We're going to open anyway because we're going to do what we're going to do. And in that clarity, the guy never showed up with a shotgun, or if he did, he saw all the cars and the people and maybe thought better about it. But there are going to be times when our own unhealed insecurities come up in someone else and they say, I will stop you. I will stop you. And that's the moment when we've got to look inside of ourselves and say, go ahead and try. You may delay me, but you're not going to stop me. You may change the course of where I plan to meet or do what I'm going to do, but you will not stop me. And I think that that gave me such a foundation to be able to say, I am going to do this because it is the only thing that I want to do. It is the only thing that makes sense to me. And nobody and nothing will stop you. God knows I had husbands try to stop me. That didn't work. One guy with a gun? I don't think so. And I look back on all that we did in that little room. How many people were out in Fairview with us in the cornfield? Rodney, Devon, anybody else? Who's back there? Crystal, David, Terry, and Sylvia. Wasn't Joseph with us? And Joseph, yes. And Eva, yes, yes. David, do me a favor, either take the stage lights down a little bit or bring the room lights up a little bit. We did so much out there with what appeared to be so little. We did so much, not in that we had a ministerial school out there and trained and graduated and ordained religious science ministers, two or one of which is still actively running a center in West Palm Beach, Marsha McLean. Not only did we do so much because we were constantly moving tables and chairs around because we got very creative on how to spill out into the surrounding area when the weather was good, that we could use a wide variety of picnic tables as if it was seats for an event. Not only did we do so much because of the logistics, but we did so much with the people. We did so much by giving people an opportunity to open up to the idea that says there's something amazing in you. Something amazing, and it doesn't matter what your story has been, what your history has been, what your circumstances are. There's something amazing inside of you. And people blossomed to that. People opened up to that. And people had physical healings and emotional healings. We had entire families that healed because of our willingness to take what we had, make the most of it, and be who we were meant to be, no matter what it looked like. People would, laugh. You're in a trailer out in the middle of an 80-acre farm that no one can find. People would call and say, I've looked for it 3 weeks in a row. I can't find it. This was before GPS and Google Maps and all of that. I can't find it. I'm going to quit and stop looking. Thousands and thousands of people have come through the doors of this center, either here or in Fairview. And everybody who stayed had a life that got better. When we were out in Fairview, that's when we started our relationship with Will Rocking Bear, and we did all kinds of Native American stuff. It was great because we were out in Fairview, and we were on an 80-acre farm, and we could have big bonfires and drummings, and so we're doing the drummings after the celebration, and people are burning sage, and other people are rolling cigarettes, smoking the cigarettes next to the burning sage. Regularly, people would come out there and go, oh, you people are smoking pot. No, we're not smoking pot. If you look closely, that is in fact a home-rolled cigarette, and that is sage burning. And these are wild and crazy people dancing around a fire beating drums. And we had wonderful times because the Native American teachings bring us to a point of focus. Pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. And they helped us let go. I release any sense of struggle or wrongdoing. Rocking Bear would call it all the dead bodies in our yards. Time to go clean up all those dead bodies. Time to heal your relationships and clean things up and change things that you don't like and clean your life up. And we brought all of those native teachings into this center. We still do the tingshas to the 4 directions. We welcome spirit in the east, in all of the new beginnings of every choice that we make in our lives at every moment. We welcome spirit in from the south, knowing that our sense of family and community and abundance is great and glorious. And we welcome spirit in from the west, knowing that our times of healing, the times that look a little rough on the outside, are supported as we all nurture each other and grow together. And then we welcome spirit in from the north, knowing that the wisdom that comes forth, either from the stage or from the musicians or from each other as we share who we are together, brings us to greater levels of consciousness and awareness. Yeah, we still do that stuff. Jonelle comes Sunday morning and smudges, because she's a little shaman. Yeah. So then I was looking at how many times we seemingly came up against brick walls. When we moved here, we didn't have any money. We didn't know that you can't build a multi-million-dollar facility without any money. We didn't know that. We knew science of mind. We knew that we create our reality, that there's a power and a presence within each one of us that will lift us up over any and all obstacles, answer every question, that it will heal us, it will grow us, and we will thrive. We didn't know you had to have money. And yet here we are. We didn't know that 30 people won't come every Saturday for 15 months and work their tails off. And yet they did. What we learned was that when we go for it, we have whatever we need. What we learned was that not bankers, nor economies, nor family members, nor threats. It wasn't just one threat from a guy on the first day. You should have heard what we got on our phone when we first moved in here. But that can't stop us from being who we are meant to be. What we learned is that if we take a deep breath and stand up straight and tall, that we will be able to live the life of our dreams. What we've learned along the way is that we can trust each other, that we can be there for each other, that if one of us is hurting, that we can lift each other up. What we learned along the way is that when we come to Center for Spiritual Living, Asheville, our lives get better. That the worst thing we can do is run away. If we stick it out, and if we stay, we will heal. I'm very humbled to be able to stand here. The child that I was never should have made it. The young woman that I was too angry to ever have made it this far. I've had to let go of a lot in my life, and I've had to use this venue to heal. And you've stuck with me. And honest to God, I just couldn't imagine a better life. Thank you and happy anniversary.